Janky AF presents It's Cruising for Cars with Corn. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Cruisin' for Cars with Corn, the other C-based alliteration car show. Start sharing the screen right now. Alright, so 3, 2, 1. This is my beautiful 1982 Fiat X19. You see here, bought it for 2 years ago and it still doesn't run, which is pretty great, but we're getting there. A lot of projects in the air, always at Janky Painting and Toilet Company. Cruising for Cars with Corn, brought to you unofficially by Old Milwaukee, NA. Unofficially, that is, but if they'd like to talk about possible sponsorship, I'd be happy to. America's non-alcoholic near beer. Here. I'm actually out of Old Milwaukee NAs right now. So welcome to Janky AF, Cruising for Cars with Corn. Janky AF, I just started this, and real excited about it. Automobile Fabrikation auf Deutsch. So Janky AF. So today, I'll show you what I'm doing right now. Is trying to get a copy of these blue steel wheels, and I'll show you my mock-ups here. Janky AF folder. I'll show you the Buick first. The Buick is so here's what I'm having. This is my 1995 Buick LeSabre Custom, which is hilarious because Custom was basically the base model. So I'm sure you can find the irony there. So it's white in color, obviously. This is not my exact vehicle. I should have done one of my exact vehicle because I could actually do that. But nonetheless, I didn't have any perfectly straight side profile pictures at the time, so I just grabbed this one off the internet. But exact same vehicle. This is the, I believe, 8th or 9th generation LeSabre. I believe 8th. Could be wrong about that. But this is the pre-facelifted model where the indicator signals are sort of in a cluster. I think they got rid of that and maybe put them on the side, and the front fascia got changed. I like Series 1, or pre-facelift, I guess you could call it. And it says the Series 1 3800 motor, now 3800 motor. Let's just be upfront. I don't know that much about cars. I love cars, but I'm not a mechanic, I'm not a technician. I'm a lay person. But my passion for cars is nonetheless very high. And I enjoy all aspects. And Janky AF in particular, I like stuff that I consider really classic. But maybe is a little underappreciated. A lot of cars that were made in high volumes people don't really love, which is kind of but I like the fact that a car can be sort of unique and effective and still be made in high quantities. I think that's a cool idea. Exclusivity comes maybe in other ways, for instance, if it's jankified, obviously it becomes very exclusive. Now here's a little mock with the badge. I'm not sure I want to put the badge there, but that's where I got it right now. But I really love this car because being white in color with all these black accents, it just almost lends itself to like a monochromatic job. So I've been really, really into these gradients lately. So I think I want to put, it's a very 80s Toyota 4Runner thing, but I want to custom paint a gradient such as this, and it's a real rough. That's why it's called a mock-up, So another gradient here. I thought about doing the roof black and the gradient going the opposite way. I think I might have even had a version of that somewhere, but not here. So I bought these white steel wheels from the junkyard. Got them. I wish I could remember the name and give them a shout out, but not exactly like this. I think they have more holes. Supposedly they fit a 95 LeSabre. They're from interestingly, the Custom, which is the base model, has a really nice pair of alloy wheels on it, as standard, which you can't see in this picture. But I think it's really, I just love steel wheels. They're cheap. And then I just paint them, I put a DTM oil-based primer on them, and then usually 2 coats of just oil-based paint you buy that comes in the Alice Chalmers orange, for example. I have in my Transit. This is just a stock white, but I haven't actually matched to the car, but I think it's it doesn't really have a lot of yellow in it. It's very, very neutral, so I like that. So, anyways, I'm just doing there was the cheapest, and I'm not totally into necessarily the cheapest one. I think that's like, I mean, I love Hoovie's Garage, and I like the idea of it, but for me it's more about just, is it a bargain and can I get value out of it? And for me it's like, if a lot of the cosmetic stuff is wrong, that stuff I can sort of address and want to address and add value to it, whereas hopefully the mechanicals are decent. Obviously you're going to need to do some stuff. The Buick I've done some stuff to, not me personally obviously, but had done too. This is a Ferrari Mondial, and there was this Ferrari Mondial for sale for, I believe, $24,700, which for a Ferrari in running condition is pretty damn amazing. Mondials seems like they're starting to get popular. You see them on Bring a Trailer a lot, and it's like, you know, what the 308 or 328 was 15, 20 years ago, sort of bottom of the barrel. But, you know, rear-mounted or mid-mounted V8 engine, and, you know, gated transmission, all the theater of you know, the Ferrari namesake. These great grill, you know, you saw these everywhere, Testarossa, everything, like this real grill arrangement. I don't remember seeing that a lot before. I could be wrong about that. So I was playing around the gradient here, and I took the white wheels that I just mocked up off the Buick, and I put them on this and put a blue filter on it, but I'm not kind of happy with it. So what I want to do is, I'll show you how I do these mock-ups. Just search blue steel wheel. I found something that's straight on. It seems like it should be easy to, you know, grab. So I'll just, well, usually I screen grab it, but I'm screen recording right now, so I don't know if I can do that. Maybe I can, but I'll just save this. Now it's not going to have, I don't know if you can put steel, I mean, I don't know anything about bolt patterns and stuff like that, if I could even get a steel wheel for, you know, these Mondials. Also, I don't have $24,000, but, you know, this is looking ahead. So we'll go ahead and save that, and then we'll open up the file. Let's see. Check that into Photoshop. I use Photoshop for everything, and again, I'm a novice at it, but I've sort of like took some courses in school, and enough to get by, you know, functional. But I don't know Adobe Illustrator, which is crazy because I make logos and stuff, and I just make them as big as I possibly can, so hopefully they'll shrink down and still be of quality. It's very janky, but it seems to do the job. So we're just going to take a elliptical marquee. Now the new Photoshop, you don't hit shift to make it perfect, and if you hit shift you can, rather than being a perfect ellipse, you can make it custom size. I guess you do have to hit shift. They keep changing it. So get the approximate size here. Grab it. Move around like that. Oh, just straight up grab it. Oh, yeah, that works. So now open our Mondale file here. Just drag this like this. Boom. Now I always make things smart objects. This is another janky thing because then you can, I think, resize them without getting quality loss, I believe. Oh yeah, already looks better. I like that blue a lot. I'll just copy that file, chuck one over here. Ooh, that looks sweet. Really cool. I'm not a huge fan of silver, but I feel like in this car, the black and blue together is also a weird color combination. Some might say one of the trashier color combinations. right up there with black and red, and gray and red's a little trashy to me, but you know, I don't know what that song is, but I like My Women Were on the Trashy Side. Great song. Anyways, that's a mock-up, so we're gonna go cruising for some cars now. Try to keep this kind of short, but lately what I've been doing is Buicks. Really into Buicks. Obviously I got my LeSabre I'm trying to do up, and so let's go Utica, New York. I actually don't remember. I was looking at Buicks. There's, you know, these old LeSabres, they're so great. They got the 3800 motor, there's torquey motor, they're just so reliable, and they're so comfortable too. Like, and they're big, but they're also luxury cars back then. I just heard someone talking about this. They're still very low to the ground. A regular car reviews, great channel. They were talking about how, you know, luxury cars in America, you still rode low down as opposed to like a Rolls Royce or something. So all I do is just type in Buick here. And we're gonna search price low to high, of course. Looking for value. PT Cruiser. I was looking at this PT Cruiser earlier. I'm trying to research the Chrysler 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that was in these PT Cruisers and see if that's like a decent motor. But basically what I'm looking for is something, you know, I have my taste, and then you do your research to see if it's reliable or not. I'm really into Saturns lately. There's a Saturn View that apparently, I read an article in Car and Driver, and the person that listing actually said it's got Honda engines and transmissions in a Saturn. They cut some weird sort of deal like automotive brands are always doing. Here's a pretty nice Skylark. I love the Skylarks. To me, this is one of the coolest looking. Man, this brings me back because they're it's a long story. There was this somewhat of a hoarder, I believe, and he had a Buick Skylark in town, and there was always just so much garbage at it. But me and my friend Bradley would sort of marvel at the trash, but also marvel at the garbage, I should say. Also marvel at like the design of the Skylark, and there's just nothing like it. It's so 90s, and yet it has these throwbacks. This, you know, the rear wheel. Kind of covered there. It has some like kind of crappy hubcaps on it, but the fact they made this in a 2-door was awesome too. I like the 4 doors and the 2 doors, but it's such a sleek design, just so simple, but very like, I don't know. It's got some Pontiac Grand Am, but the Buicks are just, you know, supposedly these older Buicks. I guess he's got a Dakota for sale too, but okay, so let's look at the price. $2,000. It's a PA car, so apparently that means it's better in New York. 154,000 miles, not terrible. I believe this has a 3800 in it. It might be the sort of apparently there's a pre-series one that was in like the Riatas and stuff like that. So it might be that, but 97, it's probably just a straight up series one. Very clean, solid. I wish they had more pictures. It's amazing how a Craigslist ad can make you want to buy a car just based on the description. These Lacrosses, I love these Lacrosses. I love this dual tail. I like any car that like sort of does like a almost, I guess Mercedes has the claim to fame on it. I don't know why, but like a luxury car that has dual headlights, dual round headlights. Sort of got a little teardrop falling off to the side there. Now, I don't know what motor's in these, but I don't think it's a 3800, and I'm not crazy about the engines that came after the GM engines. You know, I was listening to Hoobie's Garage, and he was saying you really gotta sort of like sell what you know and research the hell out of like specializing in models and stuff like that. So I'd kind of like to do that a little bit. There's a nice Bonneville in the background here, and those I do believe have the Series 1 3800. These Bonnevilles are awesome. I think they're one of the coolest looking cars from the 90s. But this Lacrosse is real nice. It's gray, which I don't usually like, but it kind of works. It's almost like a gunmetal, and it's got the black, I forget what you call that, the fake convertible we call them. It's something to do with like carriages back in the day, right? Carriage top. Nice alloy wheels. Good looking car. Buick's I just love they make sort of like, I don't know, they're non-distinct and distinct all at the same time, but I appreciate the lines. I think they look great with steel wheels. I've always loved this cutout on the back. Now it goes right into the taillights. I feel like that was like a big trend for a while. Like the neons to that, Dodge neons, probably a lot of others. But what I like about the earlier than like my 95, for example, these lines here, they're just getting a little cute, you know. Actually has a lot of neon in this, which is funny. I wonder if the design was the same. Design was the same. Buick Cascadas, by the way, their new convertible, which they probably haven't sold many of, unfortunately. It's a beautiful car. I think these are so cool. And I've seen they look great in person too. I think these look so much cooler than like the Volkswagen EOSs, although this in red it does look a little bit like an EOS, but just a beautiful car, that burgundy. So this Lacrosse is $4,000, a little bit out of my price range. 102,000. That's right in the mileage I want. So there you go. Not a lot doing in Utica, and these older Buicks are just getting harder to find. What can I say? There's cheap wheelies all over. This one I saw earlier. I really like this. Here's a great find. Okay, 1990 Buick Century station wagon, Stockholm, New York. $1,000, 174,000. A little high, but you know what? If you're just getting it, if it's just an around town car, grocery gutter, take little camping trips with it, get classic car insurance on any car after 1995. You can get I just got class car insurance on my LeSabre. It dramatically cheapens it. You get great coverage. I use Haggerty for most of my stuff. All my stuff right now in the classic department. New brakes, fuel pump and sending unit, new front shocks, new muffler system. Anytime they list a bunch of stuff they've recently done, it's like, you know, it's a good sign. Runs very good. Engine auto trans excellent. Engine and transmission, that's, you know, right off the bat. And then the frame, is it like rusted out? You see a little rust going on here. God, that's beautiful though. Now this panel, it looks like it's missing, but you know, just delete it then. Just take it off. You got the wood paneling under it anyways. This funky back spoiler's really funny. It's like actually a great combination, but I would love to see someone around town has Jeep Wagoneer, like the old, really like sort of old-timey looking ones, and it's purple. They repainted. I think it was this older gal that owned it once upon a time. Her family has it now. And, it's purple, but it's a woody. It's like so funky, so cool looking, and you wouldn't think that shade works, but it somehow just does. I think this would look excellent in black with the wood siding, and then take these hubcaps off. You already got a white wall tire on there. See how good the tires are. Great license plate frame. It's just like a classic. It's not as huge as some of the, like the Roadmaster, for example. It's Roadmasters are really hot right now. There's a bunch on sale I've seen recently, but they're most of them are the sedans, which in a way are almost cooler. They got a really funky look. But the wagons, obviously, with the back seat and everything. Body good with some rust. Lower back panels under the edge, 2 doors. Glass good all around. Interior good. Overhead needs tucking up. Overhead. I don't know if it's a headliner. Lower rear trailing arm rusted, needs to be replaced. Now, I don't know exactly how big of a job that is, but I would imagine it's, you know, you're going to put at least what you paid for back into this thing, but then, you know, if you're only in for $2,000 on a really solid running, like, beautiful classic car, that's, you know, pretty darn cheap in the grand scheme of things. Very solid running car, great winter, 1,000 or best offer. Mileage is a little high, but the price is right. And again, if it's going to be a auxiliary vehicle that you're using mostly recreationally, you know, it's nice to have another option. If your car's in the shop, you have a loaner. So I really like that one. I should 26 days. I should see if that's still around. Rivieras seem to hold their value because there's two here, both. It's probably the same one, 6,500. Sometimes you see two posts, you swear it's the same car, but you're not totally sure. Same price, it looks the same, but the ads are totally different. 76,000 miles. This is I would love to do a Riviera, Janky AF. Boy, beautiful. And these chrome hubcaps, I think they're almost cooler than the wheels themselves. I would be hard pressed to put Steelies on these because this looks so cool as is. Big tire there. I love the taillights, the Riviera symbol in there, so classy. I love these cars that were, you know, just so presented luxury in like a very classy way, and just a beautiful, beautiful car. Top there. Big long hood, chrome mirrors, which is really cool. Like, I love that it's in a car show. Chrome work, bright work looks nice. Nice line here, really almost like Mustang-ish a little bit. Beautiful line there, the pinstripe. You know, kind of busy in the back, but pretty simple in the front. Now the Chrysler New Yorkers look a little bit like this, some of those New Yorkers. I think they have the flip-up headlights, which is awesome. Now, is this the same ad or not? Gotta be, yeah, it's the same car. Different side pictures. Let's go to the great city of Buffalo for a second. Now there is a really sweet Buick. I already know that's going to pop up here. Out of my price range for now, but great, great older Buick. You know, Buick's a very storied brand. I watched a documentary on the history of Buick, and it goes all the way, way, way back. I think it may be the oldest continuous car brand. Let's look that up real quick as we get distracted here. I gotta give Wikipedia some money. They're asking for money. I like to support Wikipedia. I'd give them $6 a year or something like that. You know, if everyone did that. It's among the first American marquee marks of automobiles, and was the company that established General Motors. Yeah, I gotta do a whole separate thing on the history of Buick, but you know, and apparently they got saved in the whole GM bailout thing because their market was so strong in China, which is kind of funny because it's such an American brand, really, but kept them going. And apparently for a while, in like the 40s or something, the Buicks they were made, because, you know, it's Cadillac, Buick, I think Oldsmobile, then Pontiac, then Chevrolet. And they were making Buick so nice, as the story goes, that Cadillac division was getting mad at them because they were, you know, outclassing them even though they were a run below. I've always liked Buicks. Here you go, 51 Buick Special. Look at this thing, 28,000 miles. Car's been stored for a long time. It's Southern Virginia, front bumpers peeling, some rust coming through, front fenders, many scratches. It's not been on the road for 10 years. The paint looks great here. I would almost feel bad painting this, but if it was a little more rougher, I could do some details on it. Runs and drives, 7,500 best offer. I mean, look at that. Famous portholes that came back recently. Dog dish hubcaps with a script on them. I want to get, I watched a great video of a guy just like screwing in like little bracket holders to a steel wheel and then popping the hubcap on. I wish I could remember who that was. I would shout him out. Look at the glass, the dividers on the glass. How cool is that? Simple, real simple. I don't like cars so much from this era, but certainly there are some. And this one, God, the lines, where do you put the chrome, that little panel there? All these little decisions that gotta get made. I love this, just line going down the whole car. I recently was drawing a car that was actually kind of like this, where it was almost like the center tub and then a whole thing going down the whole side. Just beautiful. Boy, look at that line. That crease would be so cool to do a color change right there. This lends itself perfectly, wraps all the way down and around. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful big hood mount there. But for an era that was, you know, obviously kind of bulbous and pretty, like, you know, far out there, I think this is actually somewhat tasteful. Giant big grill in the front. This interior, I think this is a 3 on the tree. I've never driven a stock mounted manual transmission. I would like to. Big clock. Interior looks like it's in pretty good shape overall. I'm not sure what motor that is. Well, we'll try to find one more. And here's one of them Roadmasters. $1,000. Actually, don't know if I've seen this one. Now, this is a mysterious, very tempting. Buick Roadmaster Limited, mileage 109. Smooth ride. Call for details. I do not text. I can appreciate that. Boy, yeah, anytime the wheels are covered up, I'm just a sucker for that. It's probably like a pain in the ass, I'd imagine. Maybe you can get a tire off there, a wheel off. This little panel here is amazing. Very like Chevy Caprice-like. Probably the same platform, right? God, big old grill, so simple. Elegant. These land barges are just amazing. Now, this has a V8 in it, and I'm not sure about how good these motors are. I actually like these rain guards. These actually work very well aesthetically, and also just, they actually are quite functional, I find. A little scratch there, maybe. This is also really, well, you got some rust there. See, now here's where you can come in and get that all patched up, whether it needs a little bit of sheet metal put on there, or maybe you could do a Bondo job on it, keep it janky. Look at the size of that rear end. Oh my goodness. Just a Buick. It's funny though, because even though they're kind of nondescript, they're design cues. This looks like a lot like the back of a Riata, which is kind of cool that their design ethos does carry through. Let's look at this, and let's look at. Now these sellers, where they don't give you a lot of information, it kind of makes you want to call them, and you know, the hook. I'm on the hook now. I can't get a straightaway shot of it, unfortunately. Oh, there you go. Lights are on. So look at this. You know, very similar. These lights, it's bisected here a little lower, but the big wraparound light, which funny because light bars are coming back now too. The Dodge Chargers, I think, made them popular. Now they're getting kind of round bumper that wraps around. I actually like the license plate treatment like a lot, and I like the crease there. Boy, riding comfort and style in that thing. Well, that's almost a half an hour, so we should probably sign off. It's been Cruising for Cars and Corn. Thanks for joining us. Brought to you unofficially by Old Milwaukee Non-Alcoholic, America's non-alcoholic near beer. Here, here.